Hi everyone. Sorry that the timer was a little bit off. I'm Melissa Nicholson. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I am the founder and CEO of WorkMuse. We are the first U.S. job share company, and we do two things. We empower people to create their own job share arrangements, and we consult and work with companies to create sustainable job share programs for all employees. So, job sharing, just if you are unfamiliar with what job sharing is, it's a partnership between two people to share the responsibilities of one full-time position. It's a flexible work practice that's been around since the 70s, but it's probably one of the rarest flexible work practices and the most innovative. And in fact, right now, in this moment, over these several years that we've been living through that don't seem to let up at all, it can be a life saver, not just life changing or a game changer for your work and your life balance. So, anyway, I want to share a little bit about what we're going to do today. And this training is, let's see if I can get my picture-in-picture up here. Oh, there I am. I don't know if I want to be right over my face. But anyway, this training is 3 steps to simplifying finding your job share partner and 3 things standing in your way of doing it or from doing it. And the truth is, I'm going to go ahead to the next. Ooh, let's actually take that off there. Here we go. The truth is, job sharing is an incredible work practice, but there are a lot of misconceptions around the practice itself. And one of the reasons that it's had a difficult time with uptake over the years is because it seems really complicated. It seems very complicated from the employer side, and it seems really complicated from the individual side, from the employee side. And basically, I think one of the things is we're all struggling so much right now. It's been a really rough, I would just like to, talk about that for just a moment. It's been a really rough time, starting Thanksgiving on up through where we are today. Omicron really took everybody by hold. We've been living with COVID for a long time now. We're coming up on to 2 years. And I think what we're all seeing and what we're learning is that the way that we worked before was not sustainable. And it's great for flexible work that we have global uptake of remote working. But one of the big drawbacks of remote working is that it's very hard to set boundaries around it, right? It's hard to turn it on and turn it off at the end of the day. People find themselves overworking for the perk of getting to have that flexibility of remote working. And it's something that we were thrown into overnight. And the truth is that with people returning to a hybrid office and then back again home and then in office, the instability of what we're going through right now with the pandemic is really taking a toll on all of us. So if you are just hanging on by one unraveling thread through all of the burnout that we have experienced over these past couple of years, the languishing that we've been going through, and now these interrupted COVID start-stops, just the instability of the pandemic itself. Job sharing is something that can be an incredible work practice to really lift that for you. It's a solution, and it's something that you can put in place in your life or at your company for your employees in this moment, and it can make a really big difference. So the training we're doing is 3 steps to simplify finding a job share partner, 3 things standing in your way, and I want you to just be honest. If you're struggling right now, drop it into the comments. Even if you see this in the replay, drop it into the comments and let me know what kinds of things are you struggling with in the face of this kind of instability that we're facing from the pandemic? Are you struggling at home because you really cannot handle the fact that not only is it like we're thrown back into 2020 again, like 2022 is almost feeling like 2020, except with one very important difference. There are people with COVID in our homes now. So it might be that your toddler has COVID, and then your tween gets COVID, and then you're literally all having to isolate and quarantine and work from home for 2 or 3 weeks. Erratic childcare is the worst. Aaliyah, erratic childcare is the worst. That part where your kids are forced back home, you have no childcare, you still have to get your work done. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of us are struggling with in this moment. So, as I mentioned, WorkMuse is the first U.S. job share company, and we work to empower people to create their own job shares and to help companies create sustainable job share programs. Our entire company and model is based around training, implementation, and support. We're not an algorithm. We're not a tech company. We are not like matching partners and matching job opportunities. We're about training, implementation, and support. And the reason for that comes from my own pains working in the 24/7 radio industry, where job sharing was my life changer. Really, it truly was a game changer in my home, for my family, and in the way that I worked. So the reason that it was such an incredible practice is because we were able to bring those two minds, those two diverse backgrounds to one role and really achieve better results than we ever could imagine achieving together. We worked in a hyper-focused, very a very productive, super productive way for 3 days a week with 4 days off to completely rest, recharge, return to work the following week, completely engaged. It really is an amazing practice, and it can really be life-saving in this moment. And one of the things that I faced when I was job sharing, I worked in this high turnover industry. I had 8 managers in nearly in 10 years of working there, and I job shared nearly the entire decade, a little over 9 years. So in those years, the biggest hang up in our job shares was always training our managers, getting a new manager and really teaching them how to work with our job share team. So one of the things for people who are looking to job share and thinking about job sharing is that the question that comes up over and over and over again is, Melissa, how do I find my job share partner? How do I find my job share partner? And really, my friend, the answer is much more. We're going to simplify it. I'm going to demystify the entire process today for you. But the answer is simpler than you think. It's a lot easier to find a job share partner. And truthfully, that is, once you find that partner, there are ways to do it where you not only find one partner, but you have several candidates who would die to job share with you in this moment, lined up just in case someone changes something in their career. That's the key. That's the secret. And so I want to ask you this question. And if you haven't had a chance, I created a workbook for you, and it's in the comments, or some of you I even messaged if you were on LinkedIn with us, or if you're on Facebook with us today, or YouTube, it should be in the comments. But I want you, and if you had a chance to download and do it or not, you can do this a little later, but I want to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to think about something. First, I want you to think about, how would it feel? How would it feel to have the peace of mind, knowing that you can take care of everybody at home? You can take care of everybody in your household and everything in your household, regardless of Omicron, regardless of people showing up at your household for weeks on end. Without abandoning the career that you've put so much energy into, so much time, so much effort, are really having to step out and work part-time in a job that maybe is not as meaty or doesn't value your expertise, or doing gig work or doing something like that, taking a break in your career. How would it feel if you could do your position, if you could do your job and bring your very best self to work right now and not abandon this career that you have nurtured over decades sometimes? Most of us over decades. How would that feel right now? And the second thing I want to ask you is, what would it feel like, that thing that I was describing to you, where I worked 3 days a week, which is very typical for most job sharers, and I handed over my work baton 100% to my trustworthy, amazing job share partners the other 4 days a week. Completely able to engage, unplug, and engage 100% in my life. How would it feel to be able to do that? And what would you do with the time that you would be able to reclaim in your life? What would you do with the time? I want to know. I'm interested in knowing those two things, my friend. So when people come to me and they say, Melissa, how do I find my job share partner? I just don't know what to look for. I want to laugh because truthfully, in my 9 years of job sharing, I had several partners. They each made me better than I was before. They each brought their unique skill sets to the partnership. And the truth is, I struggled. The first partnership was a little bit rocky, and there are reasons for that. My partner wasn't a fit for job sharing and had a lot going on in their personal life. My second job share partner, better. Third, fourth, golden. I had 4 job share partners. 4 partners in my 9 years of job sharing. My last partner, 3.5 years. My second to last partner, several years, and she was one of my closest friends. And my second partner actually went out and found her for me when she was ready to leave, which was amazing. I mean, my third partner called me and said, hey, Melissa, I got a phone call and I think I need to come work with you. I was like, wow, this is really great. How amazing is that? So when people really struggle and worry about this, it's kind of like whenever you're looking for your life partner, right? The truth is, there's not a one and only for everyone. This world is a very big place, and the truth is it's expanding even more on who you are able to job share with the onslaught of we're a global world where we're working globally with other people. But now with technology and with the pandemic and everybody working remotely, or a vast majority of people working remotely, well, I believe it's perhaps 40%, but that is a lot compared to 18% before the pandemic. So with 40% of people working remotely, you are able to really work with and find anybody from anywhere. So it's a really interesting time that we're living in to find a job share partner. And there are some partnerships that last decades. I know of several that have lasted 20, 25, 28 years. And there are also people who enter in and out of job sharing at different points in their life that it makes sense for them. They may go back into full-time work and then leave and then come back in. That's kind of the beauty when you really understand how to create a job share the right way. And that's what WorkMuse really is. That's really our sweet spot. So let's get started on our training itself. And I'm going to slip on through. So In this training, we're going to go through the 3 steps to simplify finding your job share partner. So this first step is you need to know what to look for. You need to know what to look for in your partner. And that simply is this one thing that you need to understand before all else. And I'm going to slip over here and throw myself up there for you. So the one thing that you need to understand before all else is that you need to find a compatible partner. Compatible partner candidates would be great. Vetting several candidates so that you have some wonderful people who you've already talked to, who are interested in job sharing with you, that would be great for this opportunity. So a compatible partner with complementary skills. That is the basics. That is it. Now they need to be a fit for job sharing, and the people who work well for job sharing are high trust people who let people in, trusting and trustworthy, who really take a lot of pride in their work and don't have to necessarily have pats on the back every other day. They're organized, they're detail oriented. They might not, even if they're not all of those things, but they're some of those things. The truth is they're conscientious people who enjoy working in a team. So if you find somebody, which many people are, who have the traits of a good job that would make a great fit for job sharing, but you find that they are compatible. It's that chemistry, my friend. It's having that chemistry. It's looking at that person and being able to say, yeah, I can see myself job sharing with this person. I can see myself working with this person at least for a couple of years. You're sharing your income, you're sharing your profession, and your personal lives really overlap in some ways. So that's what it is. It's you want to have that chemistry and that compatibility. And you want to have those complementary skills. So I just realized something. I think I have a slide out of order. So just one moment, because I'm going to, no, I don't. I'm good. We are good, friends. So the one thing I want to share with you about finding someone who's got those complementary skills. You want someone where the areas in your position where you're stronger, they're a little weaker, and where you're not so strong, you want somebody who's stronger in those areas. And the reason that you want somebody who's stronger is because you are going to learn from your partner and they're going to learn from you. You're going to be able to lean into your strengths and they're going to lean into their strengths to see who, to take the charge in those areas and bring the most to your position or the most to your role. Okay, so I want to talk about some myths around job sharing. The first myth is that your partner needs to be someone who works with you. Now, I completely understand why people think this, that your partner needs to be somebody who's working with you. But the truth is, your partner does not need to be somebody who works at the organization, the company, or the business that you work at, or if you're a business owner, which job sharing is for business owners too. So your partner doesn't need to be someone who works with you. They can absolutely come from outside of your organization. It's the same way as if you, for some reason, if you have taken a career break and you're looking to get back in, you don't need to work at their organization. They can bring you in. You can make a career change together. So about a quarter of job share partners, so the research shows that about a quarter of job share partners come from outside of the organization, 3/4 from inside. But the truth is, you absolutely do not need to work with somebody who's 2 desks over, or even in the same position that you're in. You're really looking for the skill sets of that person. You're really looking for what areas that they have strengths in that they could really add to the job. So if it's somebody at your organization, but they don't necessarily work in the department that you work in, but they are somebody maybe who's looking to do that, it's something to keep in mind, my friend. So the next thing is myth number 2. You need to know your partner beforehand to be successful. So, interesting thing about this. You find people who job share with their best friend. You find people who job share with someone they don't know at all. And that is completely fine. You do not need to know your partner beforehand. And while they do become your work BFF, in some ways, it really doesn't, they don't really need to become your life BFF. Now, that can happen and does happen, and sometimes people who are already friends job share with one another, or people who know one another job share with one another, and they have personal lives that already overlap in that way. They spend time together on their off days. The truth is, you usually see your job share partner pretty rarely at work. You're really overlapping. So you really only see your partner typically one day or half a day during your work week. And sometimes it is actually funny because job share partners miss each other on their time off. But truly, you do interact with your job share partner a lot, but you do not need to know your job share partner. Some people even fear that working with a best friend, just like in working in a business partnership, could be a risk of having something happen to that friendship. So you absolutely do not need to know your partner beforehand. Now, I will tell you, my first job share partner, friendly, knew her. My second job share partner, we worked together, but I didn't know her well. Third job share partner was like a very close friend of mine. We had talked about job sharing for years before we even had kids, and the timing just was never right. I had no idea that she would even consider job sharing with me at the point she did, because she had returned home for several years for a career break. And then my fourth job share partner was somebody that I met on the job, and I did not know her that well. You do not need to know your partner beforehand to be successful. The third myth that I want to get into is that job sharers need to be an exact match to be successful, like in personality is what I'm talking about. And the truth is, you don't want that. You don't want somebody who, it is like your work wife. Oh, it is, Renat. It is like your work wife or work hubby or work partner. So yes, it is a lot like a spouse in a way, and it's a weird mix. It's like a spouse and a work friend combined in one. Because the truth is that you're really going to end up taking care of one another. You're going to take care of one another's work-life balance. If your partner's jumping in too much and they're sick or they're doing this or whatever, you're going to go in and say, chill out. I got this covered. Don't worry about it, my friend. So job sharers, you really don't want someone who's an exact match to who you are in personality. And I'll tell you from experience, I am a type A person, personality style. I'm definitely type A. And I'm a little bit of a workaholic, which is why job sharing was an amazing practice for me. It ensured that I was only a workaholic 3 days a week. And then I really had the time to completely waft that away from me, waft that work off of me. And it usually took me about a day to really work away until I got job sharing over the years. And then I really quickly did it. I just instinctually did it after a while. So you definitely want somebody who might be a little bit different from you in an area, and I've worked with a type B personality. And I remember when my second job share partner, she was a type A and I was a type A, and she was really a type A. And I loved her. We loved working together, but I became a little bit type B in that situation. I kind of took a back seat sometimes. And the reason was there just really wasn't room for two type A's. So you do not need to be an exact match to be successful. Now, I want to stick this back on to me. And so I'm going to do this for a second because I do want to talk to y'all about something. So there's one thing that I really encourage people to do when they're looking for a job share partner. And there's really specific reasons for that. So job sharing, when I began WorkMuse, I really just wanted to spread the practice that brought my family so much happiness, and that brought me so much personal happiness and so much self-development and having the time I needed. I had 1 day a week just for me, 3 days to completely focus on my family, parks, zoos, all that thing without even looking at a cell phone. And then 3 days a week to really focus on work. And it really was all about the flexibility. But the more that I got into, the more that I leaned into, and just really started working through this company, I really realized that job sharing, it's a diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI super tool. It truly is. And I want to talk about encouraging people. And I'm looking at our time now and realizing I'm running a little bit over. So if you have 10, 15 more minutes till 12:45 Central Time, I would love it if you stayed with me, because I think this is really worthwhile. And if not, I understand if you have to hop off and come back to the replay. But the thing about job sharing is that I never had to take a career break. I never had to take a career break, right? I never was so overwhelmed that I needed to jump off of my career. In fact, I leveled up in my career with my job share. Within 1 year of job sharing, I was making 90% of my previous full-time income. And that is the truth. I had full-time benefits for my family. This is what I advocate for companies to do as well. There's a front-end cost to it, but the back-end payoff is massive in the retention. And so I never had to do that. So from a standpoint of keeping women in the workforce and not having them in ordinary times jump off when they become the primary caregiver. And that may even mean women who are not parents. People who get senior level in their career, actually mid to senior and sometimes more senior level in their career, and they end up caring for an aging parent. And I personally understand that more than ever. This past year, my mom suddenly showed up and had Alzheimer's disease, and I became her primary caregiver with kids, with my job, all of it in one place. And that's at a time when we were all working, schooling, and doing everything from home. It was really eye-opening for me after working with so many women who have been through something similar in the normal times, in the before times. So it's not only a way to retain and recruit women, but when finding a job share partner, there is a unique opportunity to create a more inclusive workplace by bringing in diverse partners, diversity of background. Diversity of background is so important, just like it is for organizations who are gender diverse and who are ethnically diverse overall outperform companies who are not. And a lot of the problem that companies have is the inclusion part of that. They can recruit for diversity, right? But do they have a place where people can show up, be themselves, feel seen and heard, and really want to stay? Especially now, as we're going through the Great Resignation and people are dealing with a lot. And we know that people of color are dealing with more. So truthfully, in those job share teams, I really encourage people to look beyond someone who looks like you and who is like you. You do not need to job share with another person who is a mother, a female, a parent. The reason that they want a job share and that you want a job share do not need to match. In fact, you will really achieve more in your job share team by finding a partner and being open to a partner of a diverse background. So that's just something that I really wanted to talk about. And I'll get us on to our next part of our thing, because I know I really got to get this going for you guys. So after these 3 myths, we're on step number 2. And I'll pop in here for you. So the second step, after knowing what to look for, a compatible partner with complementary skills, is to broaden your search and then narrow candidates. Broaden your search, just as I was discussing. I want to look at this really quick. To apply together or do so this is what Renat is asking. From your experience, is the only option to find a partner and apply together? Or do companies advertise a job share post and match you with a potential partner? So Renat is in Israel, I believe. So in the US and in country to country, it differs. The culture of countries differ, and the social safety net and support system. Here in the U.S., we do not have health care for everybody, and we do not have child care for everybody. Unfortunately, we are so far behind almost every other country that is rich. So here in the U.S., finding job share postings, advertising job shares for people is very rare. Now, with WorkMuse in our newsletter, which is, I think I might have, I don't know, it's not going to show up on this slide because the slide is white, but workmuse.com/newsletter, we do share jobs once every 6 weeks or so in that newsletter that come from all over the U.S. But the truth is that it is more important, like if somebody wants to job share, that they take it upon themselves, they create their job share, they find their partner. It's much harder to find a posted job share announcement and advertisement. So it's definitely not the only option. In fact, it may be one of the last options is to find a person and to apply together. It may be one of the hardest uphill battles. Not that it can't be done. Not that it cannot be done. It can be done, and we teach people how to do that. But if you can, it's much better to get in with a job share partner at their job, or them to get in at your job, or if you happen to work together. And the reason is because employers will do almost anything to keep an employee because it costs them so much on the back end to replace that person, the institutional knowledge, and the relationships. So I hope that answers your question. So I want you to broaden your search and narrow your candidates. Think outside the box. And when I'm saying broaden your search, I want you to, and we'll just go on along, let it be known. This is the third step. Let it be known. Be proud, be loud, my friends. Share with friends. Talk to them about job sharing. They don't know about job sharing. Your employer probably doesn't even know about job sharing, and you might be very surprised that your HR department kind of knows about job sharing, but not really. Even if there are some job share teams where you work, I can guarantee they haven't had training, they haven't had the support, and the company has probably, and it's really not the company's fault. There has not been this available. It's been so rare, such a tiny percentage of people who job share. But you have to really let it be known and create your own job share. So share with friends, tell them what job sharing is, explain what it is and the unique benefits, that you get back half your time, that your career progression does not stall. In fact, it increases. Over 70% of job share teams who apply for promotion together are promoted. Now, only 56% of job shares go out for promotion, and that's a problem. Job share teams need to be loud, be proud about their job share, brag on one another, do all of those things, but let it be known. Share with friends what it is, why you're interested in it, why it could be a lifesaver right now when we have the instability of the pandemic and everybody's wearing a million different hats and that we just don't have reliable childcare or school for our kids. That's a big thing for working parents. And that's not the only reason. For people who are not parents, it's just a really great way that you can take care of yourself and put your mental health hat on first. So share with friends, broach conversations, go through your network, look at your LinkedIn, all your friends. Look at Facebook, looked at LinkedIn, look who's in, find out, looked at your Facebook friends, go to your LinkedIn, find out, because we don't always talk with our friends about exactly what they do for work. But go find out what everybody does and see if there are matchups there. Think about who you know or what friends you can ask to help you look for a partner, and make a top 5 list. Make a top 5 list. So I want to share something too, and I hope that I can take this off screen, and let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I want to just hop in here really quick, and I want to encourage you to do something, and I want you to think about this. There's one thing that has made about the pandemic that has made finding a partner much more simple. And that is that when you're finding a partner, you really need to have some next level conversations with them, since you're sharing your income, you're sharing your profession, and your personal lives really do overlap in some ways. And to have those conversations, typically, you go to coffee together. You sit down with the person, you take time out of your schedule, you pencil it in. Well, in the age of Zoom, where everybody knows how to hop on a Zoom and we can get in and get out, and there's no commute, and you can even do it at home with no makeup. And, really, you can be yourself much more than before the pandemic. You don't have to put on a bravado. You don't have to present a certain way. You really can be authentic and open. And you know what? That's what job share partners need. They need to be authentic and open with one another, and really have some conversations at the beginning before they decide to go into that partnership together. So setting up Zooms makes it simple, makes it easy. You don't have to explain the technology to anyone, and it'll save you a lot of time in having those conversations once you have broadened your search and narrowed your candidates. The second thing that you can consider, which is amazing and remarkable, is because remote work has opened up, don't limit yourself to thinking about flexibility as remote work. Remote work is a given, my friends, a given. Remote work is here to stay. It is the new way that we work. That's not necessarily a flexible start-stop time. That's not necessarily part-time work. That's not necessarily phased retirement. And that's not necessarily job sharing, right? Those are flexible work practices that are a little different. It gives you the flexibility because you're working from home, but you're working full-time. So that's not like, there are some other things of flexibility, some other flexible work practices that you can put in place with your remote working practice. So right now, because remote working has opened up so much, what you can do is you can really think about the needs of your position, the needs of your job, and you can look at time zones. And I have had a person in our WorkMuse community. We have a private Facebook community, which you are welcome to join too, called Job Share Live Life Plus Slave Work. We have one on LinkedIn, but we have a very active one because we can go in and do so much in the group on Facebook. So look us up. But one of the things that you can do, I've had a job share partner, people who are going to job share a position and have gotten the approval to job share their position on the look for a job share partner, and advertising for somebody who's in London. When they're not in London, they're here in the US. So really think about how you could leverage that time difference to get even more done in your job and to open up your talent pool. Open up your talent pool. Now this takes job sharing with a partner from a different background to a whole nother level. Because when you're talking about somebody who's outside your country, you're really going to enrich that experience of job sharing and the skill sets that those two people bring. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys are the things that are standing in your way. Let's see. Oh, we just went through this, okay? So we're going to go ahead and hop on ahead. Just 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So the first thing, and I would love to just stick my little face up in the corner for you. So the first thing sorry for my pause there. Technology. So the 3 things that are standing in your way from making your job share happen. The first one is and this is a big one for many, many people. It's the inability to wrap your head around job sharing. Now, this isn't something that just happens to people interested in job sharing. This is pretty much a common common thing for all people who've even job shared. So here in the US, it's definitely less than 1% of people who've job shared. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. And you can individually change that. Don't let that hold you back one little bit, because this is the time to be job sharing. It not only does it solve for companies' biggest pains right now, but your individual biggest pains. And that's what our training next week is going to be about. So join us at the same time, same place next week, and you will hop into that discussion. But the inability to wrap your head around job sharing keeps job sharers themselves back from job sharing for years sometimes. So it keeps people from job sharing for years together. So the truth is that I'm so sorry. I work from a mobile office located in our family backyard. And I've got a roof guy who just walked through my backyard right now. Walked through my backyard, and I just gave him the keep on moving, buddy, keep on moving. So, and that is what I did when I started WorkMuse for my own work-life balance. My kids were in elementary school, and now we're right in that middle school, beginning of high school stage. So, it takes job sharers much longer to really make their job shares happen than they would have wanted. Most wait years. It's in their mind. They've been thinking about it. They've been mulling over it. Our goal is to get you there, streamline the process, get you there when you need it most, like now, like yesterday. And it's not hard to do. It is not hard to do at all, but you have to empower. You really have to have a mindset around it. You've really got to think. You've got to visualize your job share and what job sharing would look like in your life. And if you grabbed the workbook, I want you to do this exercise. I want you to visualize what job sharing would look like. And you have to know it is possible. It's more so now. Here in the time of the pandemic, where we literally had work and home thrown together overnight, suddenly, all at once. Now we're almost years into it, but it hasn't let up. It hasn't let up in the way that and the instability we face with this pandemic is a constant. It's something that we can rely on at this point. We realize it's not really going to change, not anytime in the near future. And so we have to learn to live with that instability. But the truth is, your job share arrangement will solve for your company's biggest problems. It's continuous work 24/7, whether someone's sick or not, whether someone's there or not, because your partner's got your back. And that's going to be your savior during the pandemic. And that is going to be the thing in normal times that makes job sharing an incredible work practice and basically a godsend. It's basically a godsend, my friends. So the first thing, inability to wrap your head around it. The second thing, there I am. Okay, let me do this. I'm so sorry. Oh, I've just got to scroll down here, friends. That's what it is. Okay. The fear of putting it out there and asking candidates. You yourself being afraid to talk to people about it, to bring up something that's unheard of, to really just have those conversations. And it can be a little more isolating for people right now. I literally had, I have a Ladies of Brilliance group, a friend group, and they are amazing in their careers and amazing moms as well. We get together once a month. Of course, now it's backyard with a fire pit during these high COVID times. But one of the things that I realized when we were just leaving this last week is someone said, God, it's good to see people after a month. And I realized, yeah, so many of us haven't even really seen people since Christmas. We've really isolated ourselves. So in this time, you really got to get out there and you really got to make phone calls, call people, check in with people, put it out there and ask candidates, ask people who you feel like would be a great fit for you. They'd be somebody who you can really see yourself job sharing with. So the fear of putting it out there. The next thing is, and I get this so much. The number 3 thing that is holding people back from doing it, from finding their job share partner, is they think it'll take too much time and energy to find a partner. And so I get it. We're in the pandemic. The pandemic is hard. A lot of us feel meh. We're languishing. We feel foggy. We don't feel like our best selves all the time. I understand that. But the truth is, I really understand this. People think I don't have time to do a program. I don't have time to learn about this. I also don't have time to really get out there and network. I get it. The truth is, in normal times, in any time, the time and energy that people put into the front end of job sharing, it's the front end. It's not as much time and energy as you think to go out and find candidates who would be a great job share partner for you. And you really need to do that if you want a job share in your job. And you need to find candidates, obviously, if you're making a career change and you want a job share in somebody else's perfect, wonderful job and find out about their workplace. But you need to put the time and energy on the front end. And it might be a little bit, it's a small amount. It might take you, weeks to a month. We're not talking years. But the back end, personal and professional payoff is massive. Once you get your job share in place and you've got the best practices and you just know the things that you need in the office and the mindset shifts that you need to make and working in that intimate team of 2 and your processes and your communication system and your handover system, once the 2 of you have come together and done some legwork, thank you, Renat, and don't worry, you can come back to it. I appreciate you coming. Once the 2 of you have come in and done the legwork, it's smooth sailing. Now, it normally takes job share teams a couple, maybe like 1 month, 2 months, and it can be a little turbulent and rocky in the beginning as they're getting their processes and their systems in place because you're just working in an entirely new way, and you really have to retrain yourself in some ways. But once you get into it, you lean into it, it becomes very easy, and your job it simplifies everything. It makes your job and your life work in this seamless, very smooth way. And people hate the word work-life balance, but I am promising you, my friend, that is what you feel. You are able to separate and prioritize your work life from your life. And that's the absolute truth. And so we have, and I will just take my face off so you don't have to see me twice, but we've kind of come to the end of our training. Thank you for sticking with me. I know that it was longer than half an hour. I hope you had a full hour for your lunch break, and I appreciate you coming. I hope you grabbed a little Java. And I do want to leave you, I want to make sure that you download the workbook. It should be in the comments, and it's a PDF. So download it, print it, and you can come back to this and think about these things again. But you absolutely should take a pen and paper and write these things down if you're interested in job sharing, because it will keep you accountable and it will help you get there. And that's how we do things in life, right? That's how we get things done. We make a goal for ourselves and we take little micro steps to get there. And this is a micro step, my friend. The other thing I want to share with you is I'd love to give you this gift. This is our cheat sheet. It's free to you, and here's the URL, workmuse.com/3keys. It is the 3 keys to job share success and the 3 steps to getting the job share green light. And that's where you want to be, my friend. You want to know, this is a practice that can work for me. I know how to find a partner, and go out and find your partner and a couple of candidates and make sure that you position the business case in a way that your employer understands that it is a win-win. And in this time, it's a big win-win. win for both of you. So you want to have those things in place, and these are the ways that the 3 steps to get the job share green light is how you do that. So really go check this out, and I hope that you will join me here next week. The topic is, I'm actually going to grab the title really quick. So the title of next week's, the final 4th live workshop training that'll be here in LinkedIn and also in YouTube and also in Facebook, is going to be 5 reasons your boss will say yes to your job share in 2022. And they are good. So join me here next week, and I thank you for sticking with me and staying here well over our time, and have a wonderful week. I'm sending you a bunch of love. Hang in there. You've got this. 2022 is going to be different, my friend, and you are going to manifest the work life that you want. Woo woo! I'm with you. Okay, bye.